Iniobong Essien, Honourable Commissioner for Environment and Solid Minerals. And I'm a registered medical practitioner who has made great foray into the sector of environment thanks to His Excellency the Governor, who is given this great opportunity to serve a great state and to be part of history as he industrializes Akwa Ibom State and takes Akwa Ibom State and the good people of the state to the next level of development. Quite a number of components that make up the Ministry of Environment, and maybe we could start from the most obvious, which has to do with the environment, which has to do with cleaning and making the environment attractive for the citizens first and foremost, and then of course visitors secondarily, and thirdly investors. In this sector, that area, His Excellency the Governor has done quite a lot. He is very particular about the state of our environment, and therefore he's invested quite a lot in that sector, to the extent that the ambience of Akwa Ibom State as visitors come in is something that attracts quite a number of people, and this has also translated in an increased number of people coming to settle here in Akwa Ibom State. So when you combine the peace that he has achieved and the ambience and the attractiveness of the environment, then I can tell you that this is an investor's heaven. Quite a number of them that have come for the purpose of investment have relocated after putting their acts together in terms of investment. And again, this is kudos to His Excellency the Governor, because the environment is the first thing that hits you. I mean, for instance, if you come in from the airport, you see what His Excellency the Governor has done in terms of keeping that environment clean, trimming the, cutting the grass, the litter control, and everything that you can think of that can make for an attractive environment. We have the ingredients, and thanks to His Excellency the Governor for what he has done. If we move from the sector of waste management, presently we've signed an MOU with a company called P&S Environmental Solutions, and that's to deal with the ultimate of waste management, and that is recycling. So that is in place, and the timelines are being pursued aggressively, and I can assure you that once that comes on stream, Akwa Ibom State will certainly not be the same again in terms of waste management. We will move from that sector to a sector which most people might not be very, very conversant with, and that has to do with the solid minerals of the state. His Excellency has focused seriously in that sector towards developing it, and they started by authorizing the setting up of a Mineral Resources and Environmental Management Committee, MEREMCO in the common parlance, and headed by Obon Essien. And it's a committee that interfaces with the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, and ensures that the resource in that sector, in the area of solid minerals, the source is tapped. It's a sector that hitherto has not been taken care of, has not been looked, has not been invested in. And His Excellency the Governor has looked in that direction, and he has seen the potential. He has a vision. What most people are not seeing in that sector in terms of revenue generation and job creation is what His Excellency is seeing, and he's taking that sector very seriously. As I talk to you, we've done quite a lot of solid minerals survey, and we've cataloged what we've got, the quantity and the quality and their locations, and very soon we're going to launch that. We've done this in conjunction with the MEREMCO committee and of course the Ministry of Science and Technology. One other area that His Excellency has done a lot is in the area of erosion control. We have actually surveyed and documented well over 1,000 erosion sites across the states, virtually all local governments are affected, and the costing of intervention in such an area is so much that we've had to seek assistance from a number of quarters, particularly the World Bank under the Nigerian Erosion and Watershed Management Project, NEWMAP, and then we've also tried getting assistance through the Ecological Fund Office. But while that is ongoing, His Excellency has intervened in quite a number of places with both remedial measures and permanent structures to ensure that the livelihood of our people, is stabilized, not displaced, and of course to ensure sustainable development in some of those areas. If you go to Isangadi Street in the Isangadi Road in the Oran area, you see what His Excellency has done there in terms of erosion control, land reclamation, and of course resettling the people. That erosion had actually ravaged, and some of them had, in the process of leaving, packing out of those areas. If you pass through Dominic Utuk Avenue, you will also see what His Excellency the Governor is doing in terms of land reclamation and beautification of that area. Most people have forgotten that that area used to be severe gully erosion ravaged area. The school there, the Christ the King's school, was threatened. A number of buildings there were threatened. Most people had actually moved out of those places, but what you're seeing now is in the final stages. It's been reclaimed. Now we're now having regrassing and of course the beautification. The concrete structures are there, very well done, to the extent that World Bank officials that have come have always made that point a tourist site. They're so impressed with what His Excellency the Governor has done, and that's why they are ready to lend a hand, in whichever areas we ask for help. And so that takes me to what they've done so far. That's from World Bank end. We've had emergency intervention, through World Bank assisted project NEWMAP in the Ejimumana area, an area that was facing severe negative impact of gully erosion. As a matter of fact, the gully head was virtually caving in when World Bank came in, and for the first time in their project, they approved an emergency intervention. In the history of World Bank assisted project NEWMAP, that's Nigerian Erosion and Watershed Management Project, they have never approved an emergency intervention. But when they came in and saw the transparency in operations of His Excellency the Governor in the number of areas and what is put in place already, they readily gave approval to that. It took the intervention of even the World Bank country director who came in person, the chief procurement officer of World Bank, Chief Bayo, and the team lead personnel of World Bank on NEWMAP project, Dr. Moza Abu, they all came because of the interest they have for the state. So, and then of course we move from there and then look at what His Excellency has done at Nsika, flood control. That's another area. Most people would have forgotten by now that once upon a time there was a river by the Methodist Church on 2-lane, that's Nsika Avenue. He came in there, of course, put about 1.5 kilometer drainage, underground drainage, plus a paved road on top of that drain, for the people of Akwa Ibom, and so now that area has been deflooded. Most people have forgotten that once upon a time, keke riders, taxi drivers used to make that place their car wash, but it's no longer the case, including even the church owners as Methodist Church. I remember quite a number of times on Sundays when it rained then, there will be no service there. But I'm sure they're very pleased with what the governor has done so far. and in terms of the flooding that area. His Excellency the Governor has done so much in the last 3.5, almost 4 years, in areas of industrialization, in areas of education, in area of health. He has put in place over 13 industries. And when you look at industrialization, when you look at the future of Akwa Ibom State, you're talking about job creation, you're talking about job generation, you're talking about revenue generation. And that's what His Excellency the Governor stands for. Peace is here in Akwa Ibom State. And you need peace for development to thrive. Therefore, for sustainable development, for sustainable peace in Akwa Ibom State, for sustainable industrialization, both Mr. Dom Emmanuel, both PDP, with all the candidates of PDP, to ensure a better future for Nigeria, to ensure a better future for Akwa Ibom State. Thank you.